Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. You're watching the BQ conversations with us. So, auto companies are coming out with the data today for the August month, and Maruti Suzuki has also come out with its data, and it has shown a tremendous growth and highest ever wholesale sales, if I'm not wrong, from Maruti Suzuki. We have with us Mr. Shashank Srivastava, the Senior Executive Officer of Marketing and Sales at Maruti Suzuki. So, I just wanted to start with, sir, your assessment of sales for the month because it seems like the inventory buildup is sort of building in the inventory and the run up to the festivals. Is it the only reason for that, or do you think any other reason has contributed to the upside on the sales?
Yeah, so a couple of reasons I can straight away say why the August numbers were so good. First, of course, was the increased production itself. And, after a long time, because of the semiconductor crisis, when we had lower than required production, from July onwards, the semiconductor crisis seems to have taken a backstage, and we have seen much better production levels, especially of models which have been under waiting and, they have had a lot of pending bookings. That certainly helped in both July as well as August. In August number of 368.97, not only a growth of almost 9.7% over last year, but also the highest ever August and also the highest ever any month sale in the history of Indian auto industry. So it's been a fantastic last 5 months of this financial year. April has been the highest ever, so also May, highest ever June, highest ever July, highest ever August. And Maruti Suzuki, as you rightly pointed out, also because of our much better improved production and also the larger portfolio of SUVs that we have now, we could show a growth much higher than the industry. Our growth in August, for example, was upward of 16% in the domestic market, whereas the competition growth was 5%. And that means that we have increased the market share. 2.5% actually we gained in market share in the month of August. And in retail, actually, we gained a 3.7% market share. So overall, it has been good. These two main reasons, the SUV portfolio that we now have, a very strong one, and we became number one SUV manufacturer also in this financial year in August. And also the better availability, those two factors certainly contributed a great deal to the numbers that you see.
So, if I remember, the last month that we saw with the highest ever sales was September in the last year, right? And and the festivals are still the main festivals of Diwali and are still far away in November. So I just wanted to understand whether you expect the sales to again beat this record of August in September or in the coming months, or do you think that the inventory buildup or the wholesale sales that go to dealerships have reached their peak and now only decline? We will see a decline in the inventory levels.
No, so actually, when we talk of the festive season, it starts on the 17th of August from the Onam month, which starts, Chingam month, which starts in Kerala. And this year, the Chingam month started, like always, on 17th August and ended on the 29th, where we had the Onam. That is the peak sale in Kerala. And we saw a 24-25% jump in retails in this period. Of course, as we go along, then the festive season sort of shifts to the western part of the country with the Ganesh Chaturthi, the Janmashtami, later on to Bengal and Gujarat during the Navratras, and then central part and the north part of India and southeast part of India, where we had the big effect of the Diwali, the Dhanteras, and the Bhai Dooj. So really, when we talk of festive season from the automobile context, it starts from 17th August and lasts till Bhai Dooj, which is on the 14th of November. That's about an 83-day period this year. It varies, of course, but this year it's 83 days. And generally speaking, the sale in this period from an automobile perspective is about 23 to 26% of the annual sale happens in this period. And this year, the expected annual sale in the industry is roughly 41 lakhs, which means the sale during the festive period should be around a million or so, 10 lakh, 25% if it was to achieve. So yes, partly the reason is buildup of stock. As you saw in August, while the wholesale was 361,000, the retail was about 343,000, adding therefore almost 18, 19,000 in the stock level. Stock level in the industry is now about 311,000, which is roughly 30 days. So it is sort of at an optimal level. But it's possible that during the period, there is a sharp period coming up in between, by the way, starting from 20th September till 12th of October. There, generally, the stock will further go up and then a large retail happen. So I would say that the stock level is optimal, and increased retail obviously would help in increased wholesale also going forward.
Okay, and for Maruti, we have seen the highest ever wholesale from the company for the month. And you also said that the easing supply side issues have also improved the deliveries. And the demand is not a problem. We have seen that the company itself and the industry also has a huge pending order book to serve. So I just wanted to understand from you whether there is a limit to what Maruti can produce in a month right now, and whether it can go above 2 lakh in a month.
So actually, it's a I would say simplistic question in the sense that while our capacity is about 21-22 lakh, rough calculation shows that's about 1.8, 1.9 lakh on a monthly basis. But of course, we have to see model-wise capacities in different plants. And we have plants in Gujarat, we have plant in Manesar, we have plant in we are also taking some vehicle supplies from the TKM plant in Bangalore. So we would have to see model-wise. And rather than just looking at the overall number. So it's not just about the capacity, and I would like to bring in this point here that while the going has been very good, we still have 2 points where we have to really watch out for if this demand is to continue. One is the rainfall pattern, which in August was admittedly quite adverse. And in September, we have to wait and see which way the monsoon goes. So far, the monsoon is -8. We started August with +3. And we ended at -8. Really depends. The sentiments in the rural market does depend a lot on the rainfall pattern, and we have to watch out whether the pattern. The second thing is that it also impacts the food inflation, and if food inflation is to continue, which it has got food as almost a 38% weightage in the overall CPI, the overall inflation index. And if it continues, maybe you will see an increase in the repo rates from the bank, which would translate ultimately into higher retail loan rates. And in our industry, 80% of the retail happens through the finance. And therefore, that's the other factor which we have to watch out for. These two factors can pull down the overall market. But otherwise, as I said, at the moment, with a sale of more than 1.7 million current financial year, the going seems to be good.
Actually, I wanted to discuss the rain deficient that you talk about. I also wanted to understand from you that if there is a deficient monsoon in September as well, or the rainfall is deficient in the September as well, where do we see the first signs of distress coming in, and how do Maruti assesses whether there is some impact of this on your sales?
Yeah, so obviously the first effect you'll see in the Kharif sowing pattern. So far, the Kharif sowing is like par with last year, but it would immediately come down should the September not be good. That's the first sign of how the production goes. The Rabi sowing itself also gets affected if this continues. So the next factor which you start looking at is the Rabi sowing pattern. So these are the two patterns where you would know what level of agriculture output is there. However, I must say the impact of deficient monsoons on agriculture output, while it affects negatively the sentiment, it does not as much negatively affect the final agriculture output as it used to in earlier days, because we now have better irrigation facilities. So the effect is lesser, but nevertheless it is there. And negative sentiment obviously impacts the rural market first. So rural market, if you see currently, they have done well. They have actually done better than the urban areas. Rural sales about 13% compared with about 10% for the urban area. And Maruti Suzuki specifically has a large component in the rural segment as well. We have almost 44% of our sale coming through the rural side. So these are the factors we keep watching as an advanced sort of light, if I can say that, to assess what's going to happen going forward.
Sure. The chairman of the company, Mr. Bhargava, recently in the AGM said that the company will be investing 45,000 crore to double their production until 2030-31. So I just wanted to understand whether is it possible to give a rough breakup of where this investment will go, whether, because you have already announced that you're working on one plant in Kharkhoda. and there is another unannounced location that you're looking at. So is there a possibility of giving a breakup where these investments will go over the next few years?
So I can give you the marketing aspect and the maths behind those
Sure,
assessments.
sure.
Currently, we are around the 2 million mark. Last year, we did 1.966 million. The industry 2030 domestic industry expected to be around 6 million, and we are looking at our targets of 50%, which means 3 million sale to come from domestic Indian market. And we have also projections of exports of roughly 750 to 800,000, another 200,000 to 50,000 or OEM supply, making it another 1 million. So 3 million domestic plus 0.7 million, 0.8 million export plus 0.25 million OEM supply makes it 4 million. Now we have a capacity of just about 2 million. And we have a Kharkhoda plant coming up, which has got a capacity of 1 million. So that would take our capacity to 3 million plus. Obviously, we are short by 1 million, and that's like a whole new plant. That's the reason why the Maruti Suzuki board has asked the management to look for another plant to cater to the increased capacity requirement. That's where the investment would go. And of course, I can't give you a breakup of the 45,000 crore investment. One, I don't really know the details. And second, that obviously these are market moving information, which probably it's not fair for me to comment on at this point.
Sure. So one last question from me. So the sales in the month of August was driven by utility vehicles because you have launched 4 models in the last 1 year. And but if we look at the performance of mini and compact segment, you have already said that you will see a sort of flattish growth in the current year. But can we see a sort of pickup in the sales of mini and compact cars during the festival season? And how big this pickup do you expect to be?
So generally, yes, you are right. You would see some sort of an uptick in the festive season. For these smaller cars, definitely, I think so. But if you look at it in the broader perspective, we have been seeing a decline in the hatch segment. And you're largely because of the affordability factor. This segment, consumers are very price sensitive. There is a high elasticity of demand, and we have seen prices going up in the segment due to various reasons, including regulatory stringency, including road tax, registration tax going up, or even prices going up in response to the higher feature level or the higher commodity prices. So these are the reasons why it has come down. And yes, you are very right. In August, you saw the SUV sales almost touching 49%. And the B segment sale, which in the utility vehicle segment, has gone up to almost 57%. And thankfully, Maruti, with its 4 new models in this segment, as you rightly pointed out, our market share went up, largely because we increased our market share in the SUV segment. We are now the number 1 SUV manufacturer in the company, something which we had taken as a target to achieve by the end of the year. But we have been able to do it in August, or even on the cumulative April to August basis. We are the number 1 SUV manufacturer now, and we hope that with this acceptance of consumers of our newly launched SUVs, we will be able to continue with this trend in the coming months as well.
Thank you so much, sir. That was my last question to you. Always lovely to chat with you. Thank you so much for speaking.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.